ESPN's Linda Cohn. Linda, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for spending the time to jump on with us today. And last night's loss in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, did you ever think that this team would give up 6 goals in a postseason game?
Well, I got to tell you, I wasn't that confident going into this game. I was tweeting out at Linda Cohn before the game to Ranger fans to brace themselves because heading into last night's game, when the Rangers won Game 1 of a postseason series, since 2012, they were 1-6 in Game 2. Now they're 1-7. And it's just the thing about this team. They just can't match the urgency of the opposition for some reason in recent history after Game 1. And you know what? They needed a wake-up call, and I'm glad they had it early in the series in Game 2. Can't get away with making as many mistakes, as playing as undisciplined as they played, and get away with it against a team like the Lightning, whose main strength is offense and capitalizing on power play opportunities.
So, Linda, if I hear correctly, your confidence is not shaken at all. The Rangers are still doing okay.
Oh, not at all. I still believe they're going to win this series. Before the series began, I picked the Rangers in 7, so I knew it was going to be a long series. I knew that, they were going to have one of these stinker games, which they did. There might be a game in which Ben Bishop steals. That could be ahead, and thus leading to a Game 7, and I'll put my money on the Rangers and Henrik Lundqvist in a home Game 7 any day of the week.
Amen. I think that's a smart bet. Linda Cohn with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team, at Linda Cohn on Twitter, Instagram, and she does Sports Centers every day at 1 o'clock as well. Linda, why can't this Rangers team score goals right now?
You know what? That's a great question. I thought they would be able to score more. And we're only 2 games in, in this Lightning Eastern Conference Final. But I truly believe they'll still score more goals than they did in the Capitals series in this series, because I don't feel the Lightning's defense is as good as the Capitals, obviously, and as good as the Penguins' defense was. There wasn't a lot of room to move and create. Last night, in their 6-2 loss, the Rangers could never get going because they kept, imploding by themselves. When you take as many penalties as the Rangers did when they did it, you can never get the flow of the game. You can never get into the rhythm of playing your game. And in the case of the Rangers, their game is speed, breaking out, and dictating the pace. But when you're taking penalties, you're not able to do that, so they weren't able to get into a flow where they can score. But I do believe they will find that touch and get into the flow and do the kind of things they did in Game 1, and they did it so well, and do it in this series. And you got to give credit to Ben Bishop for the reasons why they did not score more than 2 goals in Game 1. A lot of goalies would have let up at least 4. So they'll find their game. They'll get their scoring. Hopefully, for the Rangers' sake, a guy like Marty St. Louis will find the net. He is yet to score now in the postseason.
Now, he's the guy that's getting a lot of the heat, he's not producing much. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, he's 40, he's a little long in the tooth for hockey. Do we look back at that Callahan trade and say it was a bad trade now?
No, I don't. And I won't be a hypocrite. I love the trade when it happened because he wanted to win now. The Rangers wanted to win now. And last year's postseason, if you remember, he contributed with 15 points in that run to the Cup final. Did he take a step back in this postseason so far? Obviously. The play what I don't understand is, I really was surprised after the gaff that gave the puck away, bad pass by Dan Boyle, by the way, to the feet of Marty St. Louis, which led to the, shorthanded goal by Tyler Johnson, first goal of the game when the Rangers had a 5-on-3 power play. I'm surprised that Marty St. Louis was still on the power play after that gaff. And I do believe, the head coach, who has been golden in tinkering with his lineups throughout this postseason, I really think he needs to change and do something. I know they scored 2 power play goals yesterday, the Rangers, but I'm not feeling good at seeing Marty St. Louis on the power play.
ESPN's Linda Cohn with Armen and Levack at Linda Cohn on Twitter and Instagram. She's on Sports Centers every day at 1 o'clock. Linda, tonight the NBA draft lottery, you being the consummate Knicks fan as well, it sure seems like to us that if the Knicks don't get that ping pong ball for 1 or 2, that 3 and beyond is the great divide. Are we hoping for 1 and 2 tonight for the Knicks?
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Oh.
I mean, it's the only... I mean, oh my goodness. I'm not saying it'll be a game changer, but it'll be a huge step toward regaining respectability of this franchise and for poor Carmelo Anthony. So, hey, I'll be watching. I'm just like every other Knicks fan and like your listeners. You're right about the lack of strength in the bottom end of this draft, and it's actually the bottom 3 quarters. It's just the way the NBA is now, because these young guys coming out, they so need to hone their skills. They so need to develop. So anything past the top 3, you're not going to make a big leap. And so, like all Knicks fans, I'll be watching and to see what can happen. But it's just so depressing. It's really amazing when I think about it to see, like, 2 straight years, Knicks and Lakers, 2 storied franchises, and their fans will be praying while watching the draft lottery.
Yeah.
Well, let's brighten it up a little bit. You're also a Giants fan, Odell Beckham Jr. Future so bright, but let's bring up: is it too soon for a guy like him to start talking about players not making enough money?
You're saying he should get paid more already?
No, he's saying that players don't make enough. I look at him and I go, dude, you're so good, you're going to make so much. Just shh. Is it too soon for him to talk, or do we just go, he's a star, let him go?
You know what? Listen, I don't care what he says as long as he catches the ball. And, right? I mean, makes Eli look great. That's all I want. He can say what he wants, just deliver on the field. Remember, it's a different culture. He's young. It's about money. He'll make his dough. I'm with you. That division is going to be very tough this year, except for the Redskins. I think the top 3, obviously that includes the Giants, is very competitive because the Cowboys and the Eagles, even though with all their crazy moves, I believe are so much better than they were a year ago. And so I believe the Giants will be. What I'd like to see is hopefully this kid they picked, Flowers, can really step right in on that offensive line and really help Eli Manning. So we hope Victor Cruz comes back and is healthy. But I'm okay with Odell Beckham Jr. as long as he delivers.
Linda Cohn with Armen and Levack. Linda, your Mets 23-16, 5-5 in the last 10. Your biggest takeaway from the early season thus far?
What we all as Mets fans were concerned about heading into the season. Can this team hit? Is this lineup can survive injury? I'm still impressed that they have such a great home record at Citi Field considering all the injuries they have and, of course, the great start they have. But it's just such a joy. I don't have to tell you guys to sit there and watch The Dark Knight, Matt Harvey, do what he does. Remarkable. After coming back from Tommy John surgery, did it again last night. Thank goodness the Mets found a way in 14 innings because that's the only concern I have is scoring runs. Not only for Harvey, but for all of the Mets starters. That's always going to be an issue on this team, from top to bottom. Hopefully David Wright, when he comes back, can make some kind of impact, even though he's getting old. And, last we saw him, he needs to do better. And they got to get it, but I really love the season Lucas Duda is having. But, they had a lot of injuries, not to use it as an excuse, but it is truly amazing and a pleasant surprise that the Mets are so competitive this early in the season.
Linda, you were on SportsCenter today when Robert Kraft had his impromptu press conference. What do you think the driving force was today behind Robert Kraft standing in front of us and virtually putting the weapons away and taking a step back and saying, I'm not going to fight this thing anymore?
Robert Kraft, you like him or not, it's such a polarizing team, polarizing owner, and, of course, a polarizing quarterback in Tom Brady. But Patriots fans won't like this, and my son's a Patriots fan, and I feel for that team, believe it or not, because even though I'm a Giants fan, but because of my son. The bittersweet when you're a mom or you're a mother of a Patriots fan. But Robert Kraft is a smart man. He took the high road. He put the NFL first like he always has, put the NFL first. And knowing that this subject has taken a life of its own, it's really not about balls that are deflated anymore. It became about egos, and Robert Kraft took the higher road against Roger Goodell and said, you know what, all right, I reluctantly accept your penalties, and let's move on so people can stop talking about this. As for his quarterback, as we all know, Tom Brady is a separate issue. He's still appealing that 4-game suspension. Let's see if Robert Kraft, by taking the high road, even though everyone's saying, oh, it's two separate issues, that could help Brady's situation, maybe get that suspension reduced from 4 to 2. And that could be in the back of the Robert Kraft's mind in order to get his quarterback back earlier than later.
Absolutely.
All right, softball questions are over. The hardest question of the interview right now. Who's the bigger celebrity at Oswego, you or Steve Levy?
Oh, no question. I was actually on a playing surface playing ice hockey for 4 years there. I'm not sure what sport Steve Levy did. I think he just hung out in his radio booth up there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cheers.
I mean, I was the athlete. I actually played a game. Did
Absolutely.
not play club.
Good stuff. ESPN's Linda Cohn. Check her out on SportsCenter every day at 1 o'clock, at Linda Cohn on Twitter and Instagram.
And I love the hair lately, by the way. The latest do is fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you watching, and thanks for the support, and anytime, guys.
And Linda, I wanted to tell you, I spoke at Iona recently to the mass comm students, and there was a young lady there who asked me, how difficult is it for a female to get in this industry? And I brought you up, and I said individuals like Linda Cohn, who for 22 years has, graced us on the television with her presence, she has helped bridge that gap. So just so you know, we still recognize the contributions that you've made to TV, and we love it. We love you and appreciate you. And you are the consummate New York sports fan, and that's what we are. So thanks for joining us today.
Wow, I really appreciate those kind words. I really do. And you know what it comes down to for me, and it always has been, I am a fan first. I will never let sports, being in this business, jade me, because I really just enjoy the games, just like you guys. I love watching them, and I'd be doing it if I wasn't on TV talking about it. So thanks.
Thank you, Linda. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Sounds great. Bye.
See ya.